not just a case. You're not just a client. You're a person, and you deserve support. You deserve simplicity. You deserve communication. When you hire an attorney, you deserve clear, risk-free advice that guides you to the best possible outcome in your injury case. And that's exactly what the advocates have been providing for over 30 years. After your accident, you deserve closure. You deserve compassion. You deserve peace of mind. You deserve an advocate.
Well, since Jake has decided not to play any music to open the show, or at least he thinks he's playing music and he's not, welcome to the Monty Show, presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business, where we don't test our drop machines or our laptops to start the show. So, we probably don't have any drops to play on the
show. The truth in sports talk streaming.
And then you just
when you
play
want
it.
Unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find the Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day,
Just
7 days
play
a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Yeah, just play it in the middle of a sentence, which is fine. I mean, because that sounds professional and really smooth and stuff. So, that works out really well here on the Monty Show. As always, presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business, 24/7, 365, and it won't cost you a dime. On June 23rd, 2026, and a lot to get to today. Obviously, the Giannis trade is a big, big deal. A big, big deal in the NBA. The NBA draft tips off tonight. You don't care. It's not the NFL draft, and I know all the basketball fans in the world, and all three of you are fired up for the NFL draft tonight. Probably being bitter. I was pleasantly surprised we got those headlines. So we will talk about Giannis. We will talk about don't want to play Peterson versus AJ Dybantsa. We will do all of that coming up 1 hour from right now on the Monty Show. But I do want to go. I want to start with this Saving College Sports Act, because this. And if you don't read Pat Forty anytime he publishes an article, I don't know why you're living as a human being. Pat is very good at his job, and he wrote a piece about the hunt for the Big Ten and the SEC, and that there's a lot of pitchforks out, and there's a lot of people hunting, and it's led by Senator Cantwell and perhaps the largest hog of them all in Cody Campbell at Texas Tech. And I tend to agree with this. And I think, because I have made it pretty clear on this show that I believe the Protect College Sports Act is not worth the paper it's printed on, and I think it is a whole lot of bullshit. I don't think it accomplishes almost anything. I don't think there is almost any positivity that will come out of it. I think we will be in court on the Protect College Sports Act for years. And I don't think it will protect college sports. I don't think it will stop the SEC and the Big Ten from doing whatever it is that Cody Campbell's massive insecurity is telling him that they're going to do. And I don't think that it is any surprise that a national journalist like Pat Forty, who essentially in his piece shows his brilliance. And why is that? Because he agrees with me, which means obviously he's brilliant. When he said, look at the two people that are powering this bill. Senator Cantwell, who is from Washington, the state of Washington, a noted supporter of Washington State, one of the alleged victims, even though, again, I'm going to tell you that the administration at Washington State is a perpetrator, not a victim. And who's the other person powering the Protect College Sports Act? Well, it's Ted Cruz, who is being absolutely leaned on by Cody Campbell. And you have Ted Cruz talking about how without the Protect College Sports Act, that, oh man, the state of Texas, we may only have Texas and Texas A&M and everybody else is going to disappear. That's not happening. Breaking news. No university is going out of business as far as power conferences and athletics. They're not going out of business. Are they making money? No. Are they stupid and that's why they're not making money? Largely. But if you look at this situation with the Protect College Sports Act, this is wholly pointed at the Big Ten and the SEC by two people who just are incapable of quality leadership, and they have an inability to understand that their bad acting has put us in the position that we're in. It's as simple as that. And I go back to the pooled media rights provision, which basically says, hey, everybody's going to get paid out of one big pot and for our TV rights, and that's how we're going to do it. We don't know why we're going to do it that way. Well, we do, and that's because we're not quality enough on the field. And so we need a handout. We need welfare in our TV deal to help us survive, which clearly the Big Ten does not, and the SEC does not. So what is Cody Campbell really telling you? Well, I'm the savior of college sports, and Texas Tech and BYU are in a two-team league, and nobody's willing to pay for us to play on their TV network. Well, that's funny because for how many years have we been saying that the Big Ten's a two-team league and they have the richest TV deal in the history of college athletics? So is it that your product on the field is ass, which in the Big 12 it is? And is it, in fact, that your leadership at the university level, at the conference level, you have arguably the second best commissioner of all in college sports in Brett Yormark. You don't listen to him. Instead, this conference is trying to coalesce behind a guy in Cody Campbell who just wanted to put an admitted gambler on his own college football team on the field. And so now we have the Protect College Sports Act, and everything's going to be great because this is going to save the world. It's a terrible piece of legislation that does nothing to, in fact, protect college sports. And I'm open to the argument, if you believe that the great Cody Campbell, the savior of all things humanity, who has no idea what he's doing, is going to protect college sports. Okay, great. Let me know how that works, because I would love to hear the argument.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Big Ten and the SEC are, they're going to deal with this for forever until some type of new entity or some type of new structure is put in place. And part of it is unfair, and part of it is just the nature of the system that unfortunately is being created because the Big 12 and again, I always argue the ACC is just terrible on the football field. So you've got two conferences that know how to do it, two conferences that are making a ton of money, and then you've got two conferences that are very much struggling. Yes, ACC defenders are going to say, well, we were just in the national championship game. Sure. But overall, when you look at the conference as a whole, you're not in a healthy situation. So I agree that there's a lot of scheming that goes on in bills like this, and people like Ted Cruz, and Cody Campbell are always out, in my opinion, for themselves. And it's just a matter of how they're going to get that done and under what guise they're going to do it under. And in this case, it is, we're saving college football. We're doing something that's never been done. We need to pool media rights. Yeah, but you guys are the only ones saying that, right? Like the Big Ten and the SEC would never, they never would have brought that idea up. You guys had to bring that idea up because you guys are the ones who are not making enough money. So the thing that bothers me is that because you're not making enough money, now we got to go after the Big Ten and the SEC and find a way to discredit them and hurt them and whatever they're going to do through that process to try to improve their footing. But isn't that what they've been doing for how long now? Isn't it every year that we hear, and college football playoff committee meetings and ranking shows that the SEC is not doing this. They're not playing enough, conference games. We got to go from 8 games to 9 games. They're not, they're not doing this. They're not doing that. So this strategy is as old as time. This strategy has been going on for how long? And now it's just graduated to Congress. I mean, we've left the water cooler in the office, and now all of a sudden we're talking about legislature with Cantwell and Cruz. So I'm not surprised they're doing it, but at the same time, I couldn't agree more that the hypocrisy in it is incredible. I mean, there is no end to how hypocritical you sound when you're like, yeah, hey, the Big Ten and the SEC are the bad guy, but we need a handout because we're terrible on the football field. Like you can't get away from that.
Well, and we're talking about saving college athletes, but yet they're not. They're going to be heavily scrutinized for their NIL deals over $600, and they are not going to be able to transfer as they like. And people are going to stand up and ritual. Oh, we can't have all this player movement. Okay. It's going to 100% stop you from transferring. It's going to cap how much money athletes make. And conversely, it's going to put more money in the pockets of guys like Cody Campbell, which is how we got here in the first place. This bill does nothing. It does nothing. Notice collective bargaining is not part of this bill. And why is that? Because that gives too much power back to the athlete. That creates a union atmosphere. That creates the ability to say, this is what we want. We're not going to play football until you give it to us. And until you have collective bargaining, you're not protecting college sports.
Yeah. And Cody, it's funny that the same guy who basically championed paying for your entire roster and paying big money to bring all this talent in is the same guy trying to push a bill forward that does all those things that you just mentioned. And that's why I say, like, it very much is a thing where Cody Campbell and several other people took what the SEC and the Big Ten had been doing for how many years? Because we all agree that the SEC and the Big Ten have been paying for talent for years, like a long time. Whether it was legal, illegal, whatever it was happening. Sometimes under the table. Now they can do it out in the open, whatever. So you're just mad that they've been doing that for how long? Now you're doing it and you're finding some semblance of success for 1 year. And now you're pushing a bill to kill that behavior. And so my question that I would ask for Cody Campbell or anyone else that is pushing this bill forward is, do you really think that by limiting player movement and doing all the things that you're going to do you think that's going to help you? Do you really think that that's going to help schools like Texas Tech who are only relevant because you're paying players to come and play for you? I mean, honestly, if you think about it, when's the last time Lubbock and Texas Tech was relevant before Cody Campbell and all his money came along? When was the last time you guys were relevant in the Big 12, relevant in the college football playoff or the BCS? Like, you weren't. And that's what I think is really funny. If watching Texas Tech fan try to defend this guy and defend the behaviors, like he simultaneously is the best thing that's ever happened to you and the worst thing that's ever happened to you, because it's one, and maybe depending on how this season goes, 2 years of success. And then who knows when Cruz Cantwell is going to get passed and push forward, because I do believe there's enough behind it to where it will get passed. It's just a matter of, how much scheming is going to have to go on to push it forward. So I'm just telling you, if you're a Texas Tech fan, enjoy it while you got it, because it's not going to be here forever.
And it's just what I'm going to continue to say. The unintended consequences, the pooled media rights part of this is a disaster. It is. If you take money away from universities, you are going to be taking money away from athletes. And this idea that we'll get all the FBS programs, because the provision essentially says if enough FBS programs say, hey, we want to pool our media rights, you can pool your media rights. And all that means is everybody goes into one big pot and gets paid out of that pot. It's welfare, because your product is ass and you can't draw enough revenue sharing with your TV partners. Essentially, they won't pay you the money you want to make. So you are going to bring everybody down to your level. And you will benefit from the few good actors that will do what's required to build the ACC and the Big 12. And you're going to force people like the Big 10 and the SEC to act, and then you're going to call them the villain. And you're going to demonize Greg Sankey, as you already do. You're going to demonize him, and you're going to demonize the people that eventually, because this is what's going to happen. You're going to try and force this bullshit legislation down somebody's throat, and they're going to react. And, I saw Ted Cruz talking about how he said something about, the Big Ten and the SEC can't be allowed to control. He said some nonsense about control. Well, what are you trying to do? I mean, you're under Cody Campbell's thumb. What are you trying to do? You're trying to control athletes. Everybody's fighting for control, and there is no such thing as control. And I just will continue to say, when you look at this bill, and if you haven't read this bill, please go read it. Because I am telling you, it is terrible. It is terrible. And I just think you look at the Big Ten and the SEC and their history. Do you really believe they're going to sit on their hands and just be like, well, there's nothing we can do. This is where we are now. You think they're just going to sit back and fold their hands together and we tried, but, let's pool our media rights. Let's play well with others. That's never happening. Because when's the last time somebody told Greg Sankey no? It doesn't happen. He's the one pushing ideas forward.
As he's said so many times, by the way.
And yet he becomes a villain for that. So I don't know. We'll see. I will continue on this show. For as long as I do this show, I will continue on this show to tell you and warn you that Cody Campbell is terrible for college sports. What Cody Campbell is doing is absolutely opposite of what capitalism is about. It's the opposite of what freedom is about. It is the opposite of what entrepreneurship is about. Cody Campbell is the wolf in sheep's clothing. He is everything that's wrong with our sports ecosystem right now. And the very fact that he's buddied up to Ted Cruz should tell you something. Because Ted Cruz essentially is the devil incarnate. And you can always tell when a guy goes from being the devil and he's immediately elevated into sainthood. Oh, Ted Cruz, he is here protecting college sports, Monty. No, he's not. Ted Cruz is still a jackwagon.
Yeah, Ted Cruz is nothing but a conduit for Cody Campbell's desires, and that's that's just as simple as it is. And again, it's I think that it's I would hope that it's obvious to people that this strategy is nothing new. Like this is like we've seen this for many years, and nothing is going to get done, in my opinion, without the Big Ten and the SEC's approval or their opinion being involved. Because you can't tell me the two conferences that have invested the most, the two conferences that have had the most success on the field, are just going to be left out of the decision-making process. So we're doing welfare in college football, but we're allowing the people who don't care about winning and only care about money to make those decisions. Yeah, I don't see how that works or how that computes. And that's why I think you're seeing so much being talked about with this, and so many different people sharing their opinions on this, because it is a power struggle. It is a matter of public opinion. It is a matter of like hey, Ted Cruz says this, Cody says that, Sankey says this, Feinbaum says that. These different people all have different opinions. And it's funny over the weekend when you see Lane Kiffin with Texas Tech recruits who are allegedly committed to Texas Tech. And you start to see like, hey, yeah, like, the SEC is more than able to go and get the talent that they want to get. But why is that? Because they've earned the right to do that through success on the field. They've earned the right to do that by investing in their on the field product, which you guys in the Big 12 were unwilling to do. And the only reason that we're even here is because you were unwilling to invest. So yeah, cool. Ted Cruz is elevated to sainthood and he's everyone's All-American now. But anybody who's been following this sees right through that crap, because that's exactly what it is. It's an excuse. It's crap. It's a narrative. It's a fugazi. It's not real. Ted Cruz is Ted Cruz. He has his reputation. He has his resume and his track record that will forever chase him and haunt him. Nobody forgot you went to Cancun when all your people were freezing in Texas. Nobody forgot. So let's not sit here and forget what this guy has done in the past, because I certainly haven't forgotten. And I would really hope that the Greg Sankeys of the world, and really, I'll even go as far as to say, I hope Cody Campbell understands who he's dealing with here. Because Cody, if this thing goes sideways, you're wearing it, right? Because you're the one who partnered up with him. Nobody made you do that. You chose to do that. So I just think there's a lot on the line, not only for college football, but also for these people and schemers who are trying to get done what they're trying to get done.
Yeah, I again, I'm telling you, the only way a conversation about protecting college sports happens is with collective bargaining. That is the only way that you can truly say, we're going to build a system that works for everybody. Give the athletes the power to collectively bargain. And you're so scared about turning power over to young men, particularly in this country, young minorities who have more influence and control of your money than you do. You're terrified of that. You're terrified of that. And I think you are, the very idea that you are going to put into a bill that you cannot form a super league is hysterical to me. And the very fact that you did that under a financial cap is hysterical. It basically says we know that the Big 12 cannot financially compete, and we're going to make it so that the Big 10 and the SEC, Senator Cantwell tried to essentially say, what, $700 million in revenue or more means that you can't expand, you can't realign, you can't. And then obviously you added everybody, but it's just so stupid. It's so stupid. And when you look at the fact that this only targeted the SEC and the Big 10, and you knew that because it was $1 billion or more and you can't expand. Oh, so you mean the only two conferences making $1 billion can't expand, but the ACC and the Big 12 can? Like, that's the part of this that is so funny to me.
Yeah, why have they expanded though? And this is the part where Cantwell is very uneducated about what's gone on. Why did Texas and OU go to the SEC?
Specifically, why did the Pac-12 melt down? Because that's what she's got a burr up her ass about, is that Washington State got left sitting on an island. Well, why did that happen? Why did that happen? He had bad leadership, making bad decisions, given continual autonomy to continue to be bad leaders and make bad decisions. Where was Cantwell when the Pac-12 was melting down? To save college sports, where were you? We don't know. I don't know. You don't know. You were doing nothing when we all knew this was coming. That's why we're here. When you ask, why are we here? It's because the Pac-12's incompetent leadership put us in this position. That's why we're here. She only co-sponsored this bill to satiate the appetite of wounded Washington State and by extension Oregon State fans. And Ted Cruz, to your point, Jake, about Texas, why did Texas leave the Big 12? Answer that question honestly. Why did Texas and OU leave the Big 12? Because you asked them to. You asked them to. You vilified Texas and Oklahoma, and really it's Texas. Well, is Texas back this year too, Monty? Remember all that talk? You did this. Texas was going. And you know the best part of this whole thing? Where was Texas trying to go originally? 10 years ago, or more than that now, 12 years ago in 2014, when old Uncle Monty, trust me, bro, when I told you that BYU and Texas were amongst a group of teams trying to figure out how to form a new league, and they couldn't get USC to leave the Pac-12, Texas was leaving because nobody in the Big 12 wanted to compete with them. So they were going to go somewhere. Where would you have gone? Where would you have gone? You went to the SEC. That's where you went. And then the rebound effect of USC and UCLA. And then, and what did I say about the Big Ten? The Big Ten doesn't want to go and raid the Pac-12 because they'll look like vultures and people will vilify them for it. So what happens? USC and UCLA go, and then you're just supposed to be like, nah, we're not going to take Oregon and Washington. We don't want to look like villains. That's not how the game's played. That's not how the game's played. So fast forward to this bullshit, horrendous piece of legislation that will protect college sports. And what are we doing right now? We're vilifying the Big Ten. Oh, they make $1 billion, Monty. We can't allow them to expand anymore. We can't do that because how are we going to protect college sports if they keep making money? So the Big Ten was right then. And the SEC was right. Greg Sankey knew there would be a ripple effect by taking Texas and OU. And here we are. That's why this bill is in effect. Because Cody Campbell can't get himself, into a place of influence because Texas Tech is not much different than Washington State, are they? They're not. Cody Campbell's got his Cantwell and Cruz. Washington State's got Senator Cantwell. They're both doing the same thing for the same reasons.
Yeah, and they've both shown an ability to mismanage the hell out of situations. So, they have that in common as well.
And again, I'm just going to point this out about the Big 12. Why are we not talking about Nebraska? Why are we not talking about Texas A&M, Missouri? How many teams have left this league? Can you imagine if all the original were still here? Can you imagine that? What if Colorado had never left? What if Nebraska had never left? What if Texas A&M had never left? Texas, OU, Missouri. What if they all had never left? This would be the best football league in the country right now. Oh, but it's been 20 years of just really bad management. And then idiot face in Stillwater holding the door open for Oklahoma. Well, how did that work out for you? Because now you're hat in hand begging Ted Cruz, of all people, to come back from Cancun and save your ass, or excuse me, to come back from Cancun and protect college sports. This ain't it. I'm just telling you. I'll get off my soapbox now because I feel like I've been ranting for a few minutes. But
I mean, I just think that people don't want to admit what's really gone on here. I mean, that's the thing. It's when you get to a certain age, you start to understand that, whether it's saving college football or anything else, any of these bills are half the time aren't worth the paper they're printed on. Right. And it's a situation where the bill itself really just gives people a forum to have the conversation and to go through what they want to go through. And I just think that again, we can't get to a place where we're penalizing people for being successful, right? It's not the SEC and the Big Ten's fault that the ACC and the Big 12 haven't done enough to keep up. And again, it's in literally every situation. I mean, again, take the college football playoff the last 5 years. Look at the teams that have got in and the teams that were on the bubble and the teams that didn't get in. And you're going to notice a very clear trend of the SEC and the Big Ten dominating all those spots. And so it's this situation where you've got a bigger group of people who are crying poor than you have a group of people who are successful and feeling happy, as usual in our country, right? It's funny how college football, as we say so many times, runs parallel to the plight of our country and the situation in our country. And so I just look at it and I say, again, I don't think you can ever put college football in a situation where the people who are struggling to be successful are the ones making the decisions, because that's just not our culture. That's not how things are done in our country. It's never been how things have been done in our country. And I'm here for, hey, you want to have a conversation about balancing it a little bit, or maybe talking about how a new entity be situated and how, bringing the Big 12 and the ACC along can help college football in totality. I'm fine with that. Like I'm good with that, but let's not sit here and do things like Cantwell was doing with, oh, you make this much money, you can't expand anymore. Let's not push those narratives forward, because that's just not what any of us do in this country. Notice when you had your best year of income, when we as people have an amazing year of income, our first reaction isn't, hey, well, let's go put some handcuffs on the neighbor who already has the boat and the house and all those things that I want. That's not our first reaction. Our first reaction is, hey, let me go and do it again next year, and so I can go and get my own stuff, and they just go completely back, ass backwards against that in their arguments. And it makes it so that the average college football fan or average Joe who isn't politically motivated, isn't plugged in like we are, has no idea what the hell these guys are trying to do. And that's how I feel like we get really weird leadership and legislature passed in this country.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see, because I think this bill is done. I think it's going to pass. You don't get out of committee at 19-9 and then fail on the floor. And I'm telling you, if it gets to Buddy's desk, he's going to sign it. And there's no question about that. Does it pass the House? Okay, that's probably a whole different conversation. What does it look like by the time it would get to the House? You tell me. But I think it's going to pass. I think it is. And I love everybody saying, oh, this is the last chance. If we don't do this, Matthew McConaughey will never come out from behind the bookcase. Matt Damon's not coming home from Mars. We can't slingshot him around the moon again. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. And when did we? And the funny thing is, Ted Cruz, I love that Ted Cruz, who famously had a copy of the Constitution in his pocket at a presidential debate, the fact that Ted Cruz is sitting here trying to tell people, well, we're going to tell you how to do this, and we're going to tell you how to run your business. We're going to put big business in your pocket and in your building. And the US government is going to tell you how to run your life, which is the exact opposite of what the Constitution's about. And for a guy that is supposedly an expert on all things Constitution, Ted Cruz is trying to limit the growth and expansion of private business. Which, again, I just simply ask, why are we telling people that they can't smoke? This is the gambling argument. Brendan Sorsby, please, if you feel like you are compelled to gamble on sports, please do. But understand, there are consequences to all of your actions. Freedom is real. You can say anything that you want to say, but your words have consequences. Your actions have consequences. You're free to walk out into the middle of the street and commit heinous acts against other people. You absolutely have the freedom to do that right now. Right? You could do that. I have the freedom to take my 25-pound dumbbell and throw it off my balcony into the middle of Pike Marketplace. I'm free to do that. Probably end up in prison, but that doesn't mean I'm not free to do that. Yet you're trying to tell me that I can't watch, like Notre Dame is a perfect example of this. The one of the biggest arguments, well, this will finally make Notre Dame join a conference. No, it won't. It won't. You're so wrapped up in Notre Dame joining a conference. I heard this nonsense that the other day about, I can't even remember who said it, but somebody was saying that Notre Dame has an illegal monopoly and they don't have antitrust protections. And dude, we have to go after Notre Dame to end their monopoly.
Because it's illegal.
Have you thought about just shutting up? When you say stuff like Notre Dame is violating antitrust laws with their NBC deal, really?
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Do you think if Notre Dame was violating their antitrust laws, the Sherman Antitrust Act in this country, do you really think NBC would be seen to do business with them and be the causing action of their antitrust violation? Dude, shut up. Just go away. Notre Dame has to join a conference. Why? Why? Oh, well, they're getting a free pass. Okay. Did they give it to themselves? Do you think there's a reason that the college football playoff committees and executives want Notre Dame in the college football playoff? Have you stopped to think through that? Well, it's an illegal monopoly. Oh, of what? Like people just say stupid stuff. And then when you ask them the basic question, well, we can't have people smoking weed. Why? Well, it's bad for them. Okay, well, we allow people to do things that are bad for them all the time. Like you can drink, you can smoke, you can shoot guns, you can drive over the speed limit, you can drive as fast as you want in this country. You can drive. There's nothing stopping you. I was driving my BMW yesterday. You drive as fast as you want. There are consequences for that, but who's telling you can't drive 100 miles an hour in a 60 on the freeway? Because every freeway in Washington, the speed limit's 60 miles an hour. For you, why, I don't know.
Yeah, that's stupid.
But I can drive 100 miles an hour if I want. Why can I not have Buddy, the football player, go do an NIL deal with Cadillac without having to paper it and then get it approved? Why? Yeah. Anyway. All right. I'll stop talking. I could go on for days about it. Big Blue Horses. Hello. Morning, Morty and Jack Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Jake didn't even call me on Father's Day. Oh, well. Hey, you bunch of Tuesday tools. It's Taco Tuesday. Everything in this. Did you guys see all the wildfires? Well, you're in Utah. You did. Did you see all the wildfires in the Intermountain West? Idaho on fire. Utah on fire. Parts of Colorado on fire. Do you know it's going to be 92 degrees in Seattle today? Good luck. It is incredible. It is. Did you guys see how hot? Have you guys looked at the weather in Europe? Have you seen how stupidly hot it is in Europe? It is. We have freedom.
You don't want to have an air conditioner? You're going to sweat your balls off. It is what it is.
UNC going back empty-handed to Chapel Hill with Ice Cutter's Bill waiting for them. Boomer Sooner, 13-2, greatest men's College World Series run ever. Jake watched every pitch.
Yeah, man. Wow. Just wow, man. Couldn't be more excited about the College World Series, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Another day in Kansas City, another day without Monty's show, backdrop by Jake. Yeah, listen.
Yeah, I made a mistake, okay? It's my bad, okay? I don't know what to tell you.
But at what point are you going to change that? We've been off for 4 days. You're going to maybe slap some magazine pictures on the wall or, no?
Yeah, we'll see, dude. We'll see.
Maybe just nail a cucumber to the wall.
Yeah.
I don't know. What'd you have for dinner last night? Pizza? Nail a Costco pizza. We're doing pizza reviews on this show now. Apparently that's except James. James ain't doing no pizza reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Maury's doing pizza reviews like it's his job now.
Mm-hmm. He took it personally. He's trying to take over that segment on the show.
And I say it, more power to him, man. More power to him. If Oak State James doesn't want to do his job, somebody's gotta. Good morning. Hello. Decogitora Boo. You guys still rock with our Jazz team or what? Darryn Peterson will look good in a Jazz uniform next year. Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll talk about it. Danny Ainge is going to Danny Ainge this thing to death tonight. You and I both know it. Darryn Peterson does not want to play for the Utah Jazz.
No.
Or, excuse me, doesn't want to play for the Jazz. Boomer, hello. Kodo de Casa says F Ted Cruz. Okay. Scoop, you think there is any chance Cal and Stanford go back to the Pac-12? No. Nope. Not a chance. Not a chance. Mountain West Plus pricing details were released Thursday. Yeah, $80 a year. Very reasonable. On scale. I mean, it's not going to be as good as Pac-12 Plus. Just ask Pac-12 fan. He'll tell you.
Right.
Happy Father's Day, Monty. Did you get a tie from Jake? I got nothing from Jake.
Yeah, that's not true. It's not true.
Nothing. Oh, I got a text. He broke up with me over text. I'm here to finally hear some words of hope for my Utah Jazz.
Yeah, you're probably in the wrong place, dude. Yeah, we're going to get to the Jazz today, but if you're expecting us to sit here and glaze the Jazz, that's not going to happen.
Please do not don't want to play Peterson. Make him the great stone that fell. Like, don't do it. I wish Monty would quit pussyfooting around and tell us what he really thinks about the bill. Cruz, Campbell, geez, man, just spit it out. I'm trying. The NCAA lack of real vision and leadership is the culprit. Eventually, players will unionize and this bill will be obsolete. Once it's in, dude. This is going to take a seismic, some kind of something for the SEC and the Big Ten. You're forcing the unintended consequences of this legislation, which it is terrible legislation. Go read it. Go and read it. If you read the provisions of this assery, it does not at all address collective bargaining, employment status. It changes nothing related to the college athlete status, which is amazing. It is, and I don't think they should be employees. They should have status.
Yes.
It's as simple as that. And I just don't understand, how are we going to create legislation that does not prevent more lawsuits? In fact, encourages more lawsuits, because that's what this legislation will do. It will not end the long national suffering of college sports related lawsuits. It will not end that. It just, sadly, it won't. It just, yeah. And the other thing I would remind you is the only people being protected here is the NCAA. All this legislation does is insulate the NCAA.
I mean, I guess. I mean, I think the NCAA has just been on blast for years now, and this legislation is, I mean, I guess it through other steps it protects them, but I feel like this legislation just makes it so that it completely just changes the dynamic of college athletics entirely. Like you're no longer going to have suits for the NCAA because the bill says, if it were to be passed in its current form, that players can't move the way they do now, as an example. Or there's a lot, obviously there's many things that will change, but that's the main thing. And eligibility, 5 years eligibility or whatever, is another one that the NCAA has gotten sued left and right for. And that won't be a thing anymore, because it'll just be a very rigid, this is the law, take it or leave it kind of deal. And I think that the crime in it all is that college athletics is largely turned into, we have the season and the drama with the college football playoff, and then the off season's dominated by lawsuits and head coaching movement. That's what college football is now. And I hate to have it be a more negative experience the last couple of years, but that's kind of what I feel like it is, man. Like you're like as a show that covers college football daily and we're really plugged into it. Like I've seen a very clear, like, hey, it used to be a lot of fun. It used to be like this happy-go-lucky thing that we could all kind of get around. And now it's like, yeah, screw Lane Kiffin, screw the NCAA, screw this guy, screw that. Like, it's just a very negative kind of cesspool that we have right now. And that, I think, for the health of the sport, that needs to change, but it's not going to change through this bill. That's not the consequence.
All this bill does essentially is prevent litigation, lawsuits related to athlete compensation and the NCAA's ability to enforce their rules. You will not be able to sue for those things. And obviously it's going to end the lawsuits over transferring and eligibility, revenue sharing. It's all restrictive to the athlete. That's what it is. Isn't the idea of equal revenue split what killed the old Pac-12? Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Producers wanted a bigger piece. University presidents said no. Yeah, unequal revenue sharing, which is what we have in the ACC and what we should have in every conference, but we don't. You have to earn it. Should be merit-based so that people like Baylor can't be allowed to be Baylor, right? That Oak State can't be allowed to be Oak State. But, Ted Cruz, supposedly an originalist constitutional lawyer, truth, proposed legislation that violates freedom of association. Yeah, I've seen this. You should be able to associate and confab and confer with anybody that you want. Tampering. And Ted Cruz has essentially said no. And he's a constitutional hypocrite. I talked about that a few minutes ago. He's a constitutional hypocrite. There's no question about it. Not even a little bit. And as you guys hit the like button here on the Monty Show, as we talk about the ever-changing landscape of college football and the We're Gonna Screw College Football Act, don't forget NBA draft coming up in 10 minutes here on the Monty Show. Even a large number of his fellow Republicans on the Hill think that Ted Cruz is an insufferable Jake wagon. Jake's
I don't know what a Jake wagon is, but
I thought you were getting a haircut this weekend, Jake.
Yeah, I did. I just didn't get like a cut. I just cleaned it up a little bit. Just cleaned it up, organized it a little bit. And so, it's shorter than it was.
Why?
What do you mean why?
And how come you haven't shaved your neck yet? That's the number one complaint on the show is your neck beard.
Wow. Someone's got to do it, I guess.
Oh, so you're lazy.
Apparently.
So you did get a haircut.
Yeah, I got a haircut. It's not as long as it was.
So no more skin fades then. No more hard parting.
I mean, I just didn't do it this time. I've been trying to figure out what else I could do because I've been doing that for years.
You could never mind.
I'm not interested in doing a faux hawk, mohawk, I'm not interested in that, bro. That's not my jam.
You don't know what what does a mohawk look like?
It looks like a shaved head. It looks like a mohawk. What do you mean? Like, we all know what a mohawk looks like.
The modern day mohawk essentially is a fade. Yeah, that's fine. You listen, just you do you, man. How much did your haircut cost you?
Like $50.
Barber haircut or what was it?
Yeah, barber haircut. Yeah.
It's so expensive to go to the barber now.
It is.
It's ridiculous. Keep in mind, at this point, that bill is nothing but paperwork. Oh, contraire, mon frere. Oh, no. It is far. You get out of committee at 19-9, you're going to get a vote. And Buddy, who destroyed the White House lawn, wants it to get a vote. And that means it will get a vote. It will get to the floor. There's no question about that. No, it is far more than paperwork. Far more than paperwork. Their comments are so stupid, too. In one breath, they say they need to pool media to make more money to help Olympic sports. The next breath, they're trying to limit streaming. Yet that's the other thing I don't understand. Why is everybody so scared of streaming? Now, Peacock never works. I tried to watch the World Cup on Peacock the other day. That didn't work. But why are we so scared of streaming? And if anybody wants to try and explain that to me, I'm all for it. Because I don't really understand it. I want to understand it. I don't really understand it. It is how we all watch television now. Is through streaming. I have a Fire TV. I don't have an antenna. I'm not like Jake, who's sophisticated with the antenna up on the roof. I don't have cable television. Right, Jake? You turn your antenna.
Right. The antenna to get the right signal, to make sure it's not fuzzy and such as in like.
I got the YouTube TV.
It is what it is. They left because they wanted more money and stop. Well, I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think you're talking about Texas and OU. I don't think that's necessarily the case. Texas and Oklahoma wanted to do things to make more money. And the Big 12 is not willing to do that. We don't need Bedlam. Bedlam. Who needs Bedlam?
Just such an ass take, dude. Honestly.
Now you get my point. If some of the big dogs were still around, the Big 12 would have a much better TV deal. Oh, they'd be making far more money. Again, to Mike's point, if this conference had Texas, OU, Missouri, A&M, Nebraska, do you know how much more in chorus and in sync it would be when we sing, the West Virginia song? Which has been amazing at the College World Series.
And the World Cup. They sang it in Seattle.
Yes, they did sing it in Seattle. Correct. Just amazing. But do you know how much better this conference would be? It literally is the truck stop conference, bro. There's a truck stop in every state in the country. Every state in the country. Truck stop at every state I don't know. Is there a truck stop in Hawaii? I don't know anything about Hawaii. What do I know? Truck stop lawyers running that conference. Okay. Okay. Lot Lizard Union. Well, you knew as soon as truck stops came up, Mike was going to drop the lot lizard. Ted Cruz does not believe in big government unless it serves him, and then he's all for it. Ted Cruz is big government.
Correct.
I hate Ted Cruz so much. What a dick. Maury Alvarez. It would be the greatest slap in the face if this got passed and signed just before Independence Day, wouldn't it? It would. Yes, the best advice about Notre Dame from Monty, just shut up about Notre Dame. Seriously.
Notre Dame is the number one whataboutism talking point. Oh, but what about Notre? Hey, the reflecting pool paint is peeling because you guys use some
sabotage. It was sabotage.
Oh, but what about Notre Dame, Monty? Look at Notre Dame over here. Their reflecting pool needs to be over here. I mean, it's the key whataboutism talking point in college football. It's all anybody wants to deflect to. Oh man,
100%.
well, dude. Look at the SEC just criminalizing college football. Yeah, but what about Notre Dame? I mean, come on. Like it just is so tired.
Notre Dame has to work 10 times harder than every other team because of how they build a team. Well, and the recruiting restrictions and, then there's a whole thing about Catholicism. Boy, I had dinner last night. We talked about being Catholic. Oof. Don't miss those days, Monty. Big blue horses. At the end of the day, who is making money, players or institutions? The bill protects the institutions. It's necessary. This bill would be the reason for a super league. We'll see. If it passes, that's going to be much more difficult to navigate. You're going to have to, you're going to have to do some things. Notre Dame earned its agency, but it does need to good teams from top conferences to maintain that clout, and they've got them in triplicate. Schedule's phenomenal. Telling you, if they don't win a national championship this year, we will never win because the schedule is not going to get easier from here to 4. It's going to be rough. It's going to be rougher than the hair on Jake's neck. We're talking Brillo pad here. Jake? Okay.
I mean, listen, I can just shave my head and shave my face and all that. If that would make you guys feel better.
No, it would. I don't think anybody's saying that. I think more people are why don't just put a bag over your head? Let's not get radical.
That's probably
with shaving your head.
Yeah, that's probably.
That's right.
And not like a paper bag. Let's get like one of those produce bags out of the grocery store.
Right.
Right.
No, I understand. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, just cover the whole thing. I get it.
Tampering.
Right. But you put things in a debate about it. Alcohol and in most THC is legal now. Why not crack, cocaine, and acid? I think we don't want another thing I talked about at dinner last night over some great gnocchi filet. We had gnocchi with me and my wife went to Carmine's with a couple of friends of ours that are in town. And we ordered gnocchi with filet mignon in it. So good. Anyway. But we were talking about personal accountability. Smoke your weed. Vape your vape. When your lungs are honeycombed, don't sue somebody. When you're living on the street corner and you want to drink your drink and you want to be an alcoholic, don't go suing the alcohol industry. We have freedoms. You want to gamble on college sports? Don't go suing college sports after they ban you. But that's not who we are as a country. We are now the country of litigation. When we break rules and laws and we are penalized for that, we sue. Because how dare they? What about personal accountability? What happened to being accountable for your own actions? What happened to saying, okay, you did this, and you're entitled to do that, but there are consequences.
Well, why would we do that when we can just blame everybody else and try to make some money in the process? I mean, that's kind of the deal, right? I mean, we're just going to blame everybody else, and then we're going to try to make money through that process. That seems like a better route.
You are free to rob banks. Anybody watching this show, you can walk into a bank and steal money. Take their money. But when you get arrested and you do 25 years upstate, just understand you have freedoms and you made a choice. And now it's time to deal with the consequences of your choices. Just simple as that. We can all plant seeds in a garden, but when a baby sprouts, who's going to be surprised? Oh, you're going to be what? You can't get pregnant the first time. No, you're right. Well, apparently you're not right.
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
You know, it's health class here on the Monty Show.
I mean, just getting an education, man.
And schedule all of their games and make sure that schedule is strong enough to make it to the playoff. Independence, as BYU fan, is well aware, and Maury Alvarez is a huge fan of the U, meaning Utah, but he's intimately familiar with how BYU dealt with a decade of independence. So I'm just telling you, man. Jay Beers, I think the Washington Wizards take Dybantsa. Darryn Peterson. Don't want to Peterson. Didn't you spelled that wrong? Don't want to Peterson.
Yeah, I don't know who Darryn Peterson is.
Might be the superior athlete, but not worth the headache. Could be. It could be 114 here today. God damn.
And I'm good, dude. I'm good, bro.
Nothing. And who the heck are these people that vote Cruz into office repeatedly? And again, I just point out, it's always the fact that it's some jerk face running against him.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, hey, Monty, we don't talk politics on this show, fat ass.
We're in a control position.
Why don't you shut up and lose some weight? Some guy in the comment section the other day on YouTube.
Why don't you shut up and lose some weight, fat boy?
Fat!
But he's going all ham because I called the Orange Man. We talked about the Orange Man for like literally 3 seconds the other day. Well, look, I really like this show, but you got to stay away from politics, Monty. Well, I got news for you. If the Democrats had a candidate worth their salt, the reflecting pond wouldn't be peeling paint right now.
Ronnie, it's a pool, not a pond, okay?
My bad. The proper vernacular is cesspool, please.
Thank you. Chlorine tablets and stuff.
Scoop says, I have a mohawk fade. They're great. If I had hair, which as you can see, I do not, I would have a mohawk fade. They are exactly how you should live your life.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're Jake and you move back to the Christian conservative natures of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And now all of a sudden we're not cutting our hair or shaving our beard.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you live in a commune, that's what happens, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Scoop, because the alternate, well, Beto O'Rourke was kind of different, but Colin Allred was a perfectly good candidate, but ran a terrible campaign, in my opinion. There needs to be a new entity to protect college sports. Yeah, it's called a Super League. Call it what you want. Maury Alvarez. He likes tacos. Jake is not here for the partying. Said with the song, I'm not here for the partying. Okay. Okay. Marjorie Taylor Green let us down, K9. My son's fiance works on Capitol Hill and says the four main senators who developed the bill think they have the votes to get it through the Senate and are already working support in the House. I'm telling you, it's going to pass. There is enough momentum in this country. I'm tired of our guys transferring out, Monty. Tampering 301. Right? Like there's
Tampering 301.
There's enough people who are like, God's name, image, and likeness, Monty.
There's tampering, and then there's blatant tampering.
And they're blatantly tampering. And at Penn State, they're tampering with some other stuff, too.
I'm not too familiar with that.
By the way, apparently while Cruz is the face, Cantwell is one really, really pushing things behind the scenes. Really, really pushing things. You know. Jay Beers, I still have cable. I still love it. In order to get everything I have in cable, I would need every streaming platform, which would cost me a lot more. Really? Are you sure?
Dude, it's a plague. Honest to God, it's a plague. It is so egregious. Like, bro, I cannot emphasize this enough. And I may be the guy at some point, you know, when we don't do this anymore, whenever that happens, I may take a break from like all the streaming and social media. Just like, it's just so much now, like Peacock, Paramount, Amazon, YouTube TV, YouTube. Like it's just a,
where's the drop? I got the YouTube TV.
So much, man. Like and it's not even,
I got the YouTube
it's
TV.
not even the overall money at this point. It's just like, all right, man, wow, man, let's see, like golf being on NBC. How ass was the US Open, dude? Like golf being on NBC at one point, I'm just like, what are we doing? Like, what are we, like, I am not watching golf on the cock. I'm not doing it. Like, if it's on the cock, I'm not watching it, bro. And it's even worse. Like, don't even get me started on how that US Open went and all that. But like, it's just even worse that it wasn't a great US Open overall. But like, it's stuff like that, like the Olympics, the US Open, basketball, like hell, football is the only thing they really do well at all. Like, honestly, like, you know, Sunday Night Football is really the only thing that NBC does well, in my opinion, at this point. So, because I don't watch NASCAR anymore, so NASCAR is not really a thing. So
Right.
I'm sitting here like, dude, what do I have to hold on to? What am I holding on to with half of the subscriptions that we have to have for one-off events that happen like once a year? Because I can tell you, UFC on the South Lawn wasn't exactly holding me back to Paramount Plus.
U.S. Open coverage, fans, player conduct, just total ass all weekend.
Agreed. Couldn't agree more.
I had no problem with how people treated Wyndham Clark. Wyndham Clark is not a good dude. Wyndham Clark is... You can't... This is one of those things, and maybe I'm just... Wyndham Clark got booed and jeered. Now, I think fans at golf tournaments are getting out of control. Yelling in somebody's backswing when literally millions of dollars are on the line. That JJ Spawn thing where he was swinging I think it was JJ Spawn was taking an iron shot. And he stepped off of the iron shot because the wind grew up and somebody yelled, "You're an ussy." Like, shut up. And I've never been the guy who likes being like, "Oh, get in the hole." Shut up. Right? Like, I hate when people yell. That's gotten out of control. Booing and jeering Wyndham Clark is exactly what the sport needed. Wyndham Clark destroying locker rooms because you lost a golf tournament. And I would also remind you, it is New York, which is a little different. I thought my opinion of the U.S. Open was it was not a great tournament. It was not, I think it was not good golf. It was not, in a major, I want to see really good golf played. And I don't think we got that. I think Shinnecock's an interesting course. I would never have another U.S. Open there. I just think there's too many other chances. Now, obviously, we're also going to Pebble Beach next year, which is a palace. But I'm not a fan of the way this U.S. Open went, you know. Okay, Jake, no offense intended at all, but stick with the darker colors. They just work better for you. Also loved that hoodie.
What are you talking about? Like,
what are we talking about? He's wearing black. Does it get darker than that?
like,
I don't know. Now, I don't know nothing about no color theory.
Monty doesn't know ball, but like, what do you mean wear a darker color, dude? Like, I don't understand. Like, is this a reference to the color of my shirts that I often rotate through? Like, is that what you mean? Like,
I
don't
love
really
the
understand.
hoodie.
Like, what, like, are you talking about my Roback hoodie? Like,
I have no idea.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean, dude, but I have no idea
I
what
have
you're
no idea what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chewy says rip Oliver Tree. Yeah.
Not getting on a
do
helicopter, dude. It's not
I'm
happening.
not doing it. Especially not with a bowl haircut. You know. Yes, your color rotation, and yes, that hoodie. Okay. Note
So
to
you
self,
like the Roback hoodie, but I can't wear different colored shirts. Okay.
Yeah, I get crushed every time I wear something that's not black. Somebody mentions something about something.
Hot ass.
You know. Major, I'll be the Cryptic is the fashionista on the show.
Right. Yeah.
You know. But I think the neck beard doesn't do you justice, and the terrible haircut that you paid $50 for doesn't help either.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate that.
You know.
Good for you, buddy.
I think there are many others who like the different color shirts. Nice change up, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think wearing black every day gets boring.
Okay. So you're saying I'm boring?
No, I'm just saying that I'm not saying you're boring. I'm saying that
any
asshole
who wears black every day.
Single day, you know, it's just.
And I'm a vampire feeding off mass disappointment.
You know,
Monty, what color is your shirt today? Black. What color is it going to be tomorrow?
It's some magenta or black. Some. You know,
what color was it yesterday?
Or you know,
F around and find out.
Black. 3 weeks from next Thursday, after the 4th bicentennial of the millennium, what color will your shirt be? Probably black. That's all I wear. I'm fat.
I get it. I understand.
Notice Jake doesn't argue. I'm fat. Congrats on the real estate exam. Thank you.
Yes.
You want to question your brain's ability to process information? Go take the real estate exam. Bro. Full beard, my brothers. If you're going to rock the beard, it's got to start on the cheek.
Okay.
Nothing to add there, Jake?
Nope.
Are you growing a full beard? I mean, you live in the Midwest now.
Maybe. Ask me tomorrow. Maybe I'll have a different answer. It's a day-to-day situation.
You know. Listen, y'all have not seen Sassy Jeremiah. Oh, boy. You rocking a bowl cut? You know. Agree with Brandon Butler. Either commit to the beard or do not. Quit half-assing it. Totally agree. Because now you just look like you're in this phase where you're lazy and you don't want to shave.
Time critiquing this instead of just
bro, you have a neck beard. What do you mean why? Nobody likes neck beards are not good for anybody. There's you know.
I don't have ovaries.
It's a razor. They're not that expensive.
You guys are haters, bro.
You know. Talking about the NFL draft is like getting shot. Talking about Jake's wardrobe is like getting stabbed. Either way, I'm dead.
Couldn't agree more.
You just don't. Okay. You can wear whatever you want, bro. Just saying the
permission, dog. Thanks for the permission, dude. Man. Wow.
Buddy comes in here trying to help Jake shave his neck beard and just gets stray after stray over it.
Dude.
Just saying the darker colors just pop more on the show.
Like, why don't you just call yourself Ted Cruz and write a bill titled Jake's Wardrobe?
No, Jake's neck beard.
Like,
dude, you shaving your neck beard would be the greatest bipartisan effort in the history of this country.
I don't live in a what if scenario.
What if Jake shaved his beard? Let's make it law. Done. Write it up. Through committee already. Okay, to the Senate, to the House. Donnie would probably veto it, but there would be a majority override. It'd be fine. You know.
Whatever, bro.
This is not a neck beard. This is just resting place for black pepper. Exactly.
You guys are all haters, dude.
We're not the ones with whatever that prepubescent peach fuzz neck thing is.
Haters.
The only thing good about that is like the gnats have a place to like grow their larvae. Gross. You know. For some reason, Monty and Jake look slim and dapper today. Morning, bros. SEO is the way.
Everybody needs to get a life, bro.
I'm fat. Jake, the beard looks good. You got some natural features that work well. Just trim it a bit.
Dude, this is
keep it even looking,
incredible, dude.
but looking good.
It's like I can't believe this.
What?
It's just we got so much to talk about today, yet it devolves into this.
It's your fault. What do you mean it devolved? You didn't shave. And you said you were going to get a haircut, and then you claim you got a haircut. It doesn't look like you got a haircut.
Well,
this is not our fault. This is your fault.
Tampering.
I love how all these virgins are telling our guy how to grow a beard when he clearly is pulling whatever he wants in KC. That's what I'm saying. Buddy walks into Kansas City barbecue, and all of a sudden now it's, I'm growing a neck beard. Kansas City barbecue and neck beards. Let's do it. What? Have you had Kansas City barbecue yet?
Nope.
No, but I've been to QT. Let me tell you about the taquitos yesterday, Monty.
Ain't no reset.
I didn't realize this was a fashion show.
Well, you know. Apparently when major letdown is, here it is.
Well, you know. Why are there so many men talking about other men's looks today? Jesus. Well, Jake is wearing Jesus Walk sandals under the desk.
Right. Yeah.
Little linen outfit.
Yep.
You know. Full sausage party going on. And most of you love it, especially those who are protesting the most.
Bro said full sausage party.
You know, listen, I don't happen to.
Oh my God, just like that. Oh,
it's fine. Oh, look, speaking of a sausage party, the great Diddler's here. Jake needs to watch the Bosley commercial. Yeah, and you need to stop rooting for people that normalize child sexual assault. But
sorry if you're offended by that.
All right, see you next time. Somebody call Zoolander. Exactly. The math teacher, Maury Alvarez, Jay Taffa is denouncing you as a patron. Exactly.
Yeah, I miss Jay. Good dude.
It's tough to find a good barber.
Yeah.
And it's just barbers have gotten so expensive. Like 50. I think my haircuts are like $62 in Seattle for a barber. And I don't even got a neck beard. It's ridiculous. Whatever. Ryan, are you that insecure? Come on, dude.
What did Ryan say?
I don't know. I don't. Ryan Duffy. Oh, talking about dudes' looks. Yeah. Rock and Rant. Now we are all screwed. It's too late. The conversation has gone on too long. There will be nothing but beard trimming videos in all of our algorithm feeds. Yeah, that's very true.
Get a life, man.
Although I will say real quick, I did buy a wall nose trimmer off of Amazon. A good nose trimmer will change your life. It'll change your life. You can trim those ears and the earlobes. And Jake never shaves his neck on the back either. Like he's trying to grow this like bat suit that comes around.
That's
but
bullshit.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. You need the right tools. It makes life so much easier. Cryptic. Hey Ryan, who pissed in your Cheerios this morning?
Dude. How do we get here every day, dude? Every day, it's either James or somebody's got to get into it, dude.
Yeah, Scoop. Who doesn't love a good sausage party?
Macaque.
I can't wait for football season. Go Dogs. It is what it is. All right, let's get to the NBA draft. Do you guys realize the NBA draft is tonight?
No, actually, I didn't realize that. No.
Or
no,
wait, should we do Parker Kingston or the NBA draft?
I mean, Parker Kingston is probably a more provocative topic than whatever this draft is tonight. But
All right, real quick, 9 minutes on Parker Kingston's SAR thing. So you guys saw that a judge, I think it was on Friday, dismissed the criminal prosecution against Parker Kingston to protect his constitutional right to a speedy trial. Here are the facts. They are not in dispute. This is not my opinion. These are facts. The judge in the case said, I am dismissing this case without prejudice so it can be refiled. I am dismissing this case because the prosecution says the victim in the case, the accuser of Parker Kingston, who is being accused of pen stating a woman, too much, is being accused of sexually assaulting a woman. She is struggling with a mental disease and severe anxiety over this situation. She is not prepared to come to trial. The judge said, okay, I'm not, because the prosecutor asked for a continuance again, a second continuance. And the judge said, I'm not granting that. I'm going to dismiss this without prejudice so that we protect the accused right to a speedy trial. Now, a certain sect of BYU fan lost their ever-loving minds and said, oh, he's innocent, back on the football team, national champion. Okay, first of all, he's not found not guilty. Second of all, he'll never play football at BYU again, no matter what the court finds. And third of all, why do we care about football in this case? Parker Kingston, for a various myriad of reasons, is unable to be a student at BYU. Mainly above them, he admittedly engaged in sexual activity outside of marriage. According to the honor code, you're expelled. This is no different than the Jake Retzloff case last year and the many cases beforehand. Parker Kingston, regardless of your feeling on his case and the merits of it on either side, Parker Kingston should never be a student at BYU again. And let me just make this painfully clear. To the we're going to win a national championship, Parker Kingston's back crowd. The case was never adjudicated. The case certainly was never put to a place where a verdict was reached. It was dismissed to protect, I know it's crazy we do this in this country, but to protect Parker Kingston's constitutional rights to a speedy trial. That's not saying, well, you're not guilty. We looked at the evidence and he's not guilty. That never happened. This was not where a lot of BYU fans on the old Death Star known as Twitter went and said, oh, well, the judge knows that the evidence is weak and he dismissed the case. That's not what happened. In no way, shape, or form, and at no time did the judge say, well, the evidence doesn't, he never talked about the evidence. The accuser, who is also the main witness for the prosecution, is unable to come to trial, which stands in the way of Parker Kingston getting a speedy trial, dismissed without prejudice. You can refile it. And the prosecutor immediately took steps to secure the right to refile it. He asked for the ruling in writing, which is the very basic first step you have to take. Publicly announced his intention to refile the case. So this idea that you want a guy who's accused of a heinous sexual assault on your campus around your daughters, your sisters, probably not the best look for you. And again, set all that aside, BYU should never, ever put winning a football game ahead of the honor code and its beliefs, which is what you would be doing if you put Parker Kingston back on the football team, or even less than that, allowed him to re-enroll in school. And this all stems from this video right here, where Parker Kingston is at BYU's IPF running routes and catching footballs. Parker Kingston should never play football again at any university until he is found not guilty. And even then, I'm not sure he should play football again. But he certainly should never, ever play football at BYU again.
Yeah, I just don't know why it's so complicated. Don't know why this was such a thing in the BYU community. Don't know why, people thought that somehow he got off and he's not guilty and they should bring him back. And, he's the savior of BYU football. Like, I don't know what, I just don't know what people were doing with this one. This was one of those topics where I looked at it and I thought it was pretty straightforward. Like everything you just described is what happened. I don't really feel like it's that hard to understand. And you'd have thought that BYU fan had some crime committed against them when you said, well, hey, the X, Y, and Z, and this is what happened. And, it's going to get refiled. And no, that can't possibly be. And, BYU fan just taking it personally. And I'm just going to continue to say, like, whether it's Sorsby, whether it's this, like the Big 12 continues to have dumpster fire after dumpster fire story in its conference. And at some point that's got to come to an end. And you're sitting here watching your two biggest brands in the conference suffer right now over these issues. And,
yes.
Again, I don't know what's going to have to take place for leadership in this conference to understand that Parker Kingston can't be at your IPF, dude. Don't care if he's part of the football program or not. It's your IPF. It's your building. The excuse of, hey, it's open to the public, not good enough, dude. Sorry, not good enough. Like, this guy can't be on campus. This guy can't be in your facilities. The person who let him in should be something should happen with that person, right? Like, you should discipline that person. There's no way that can ever be allowed to happen on your campus. Yet here we are, and the best we get is it's an ongoing legal matter. We're not affiliated with it or whatever. Just
right.
a vanilla generic statement. So my bigger problem is the fact that he was even allowed into the IPF. Like, that's my problem.
Which, for the record, BYU disavowed that. They said they had no knowledge. They had no idea. They were investigating it. They came out pretty strongly against it.
Yeah, well,
to be sure.
And I'm not saying they didn't. I'm not disagreeing with that. But again, as you've beaten me over the head with my whole life, you either did or you didn't. Right? He either was on campus or he was not. I don't really give a damn if you disavowed it. There's video of him in your building.
Yes.
So as far as I'm concerned, it's there. Like, it doesn't, like, ultimately it doesn't.
And it's
really
never
matter.
going away.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't really matter if you disavow it or you came out against it, because the problem there with that, man, is that it happened. What else were you going to say? Was BYU going to come out and say, oh yeah, man, Parker's a great guy and we're just so excited to have him back? No, of course not. Of course not. Well, what else were you going to say? So I appreciate that they said it. I appreciate that they came out against it. But I'm sorry. Maybe I'm being a red ass, but it was like, I saw that and I was like, dude, come on. Like, what are we doing here? You can't, like, this can't happen, bro. This cannot happen. So I was definitely and I'm still in a place where I'm not sitting here expecting, the coaching staff to comment on something. But I just, like, when you're talking about Brian Santiago, when you're talking about the athletic department administration portion, those are the folks that I wish just, would have gone out of their way ahead of time to say, okay, we can't allow him to get in, and whoever gave him access, there needs to be a conversation. And hopefully that conversation was had. Obviously, we'll never know. So that's what it is.
I think it is. It's ridiculous to me that people at BYU are actually fighting for this guy to be on the football team. I can't fathom it. And that's where I'm going to leave it. It's going to get refiled. BYU can't take him back. Plus, there will be a suspension if he were to come back. Yeah, he's never going to play football. Boyd says, dude, neck fur is a thing. Get someone to shave the neck or you'll become a Dr. Seuss character.
Okay, here, let me do this. Okay, let's see. Gonna pull up the barbershop site. You know, you guys want to play games? We can play games, dude. We'll get it. We'll get it taken care of. Okay, we'll get it taken care of, and then that way later on this week or tomorrow or whenever I can get in.
I don't want excuses.
You know, there will be. You know, so we'll get it worked out.
So you have folded under peer pressure.
No, I mean, I know that I'm not a fashionista and don't have any idea what I'm doing with my own hair. So, you know, I gotta take the advice of everyone on the show.
It's not even the hair. Your hair. Listen, if I were you, I would never cut my hair. If I had a big, full, thick mane, and you know, it would go from the top of my head as what did he say in Step Bros? From the top of my head to my pube fro?
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah,
it would be. Yes. Are you kidding me? No, I don't. So it doesn't. You know, I'm just telling you, I would be all over it.
Yeah.
Now the neck beard, yeah, no, I wouldn't be all over it. You know, Parker does deserve to not have this hanging over his head ad infinitum. And I would agree with that. But assuming he'd jump right back on the football team is pretty insane. At best, he would sit out a year. Never going to happen, in my opinion. Would it be wrong to wear a Speedo at a sausage party? No, I think you'd probably be just fine. Michigan lost another coach. They did. You know.
Screw him.
Kingston had sex, so he should never play football for anybody. That's not what I said. Who said that? I'm not sure what you're talking about. So Jake should have played at Tulane? No, you didn't hear that right.
How do you mess it up this bad, dude? Can I just... I'm sorry, dude. And if you hate us, whatever. How do you get to a place where you comment this, bro? Like, how do you get to a place where you're like, yeah, even if he's found guilty, so Jake shouldn't have played at Tulane. Did I hear that right? No, actually, you didn't hear it right, dude, because Jake Retzloff never came up today. You just inserted that into the comment because you wanted to stir the pot.
And Jake Retzloff's case was not criminal. It was not a criminal case. I don't know. How is this confusing? You understand that Jake Retzloff's case was a civil matter. There were never charges filed. Parker Kingston is accused in criminal court with a criminal complaint of a pretty serious sexual assault. And let me just break this down because I don't think you get it. At BYU, it doesn't matter what the court says. It does not matter what the judge says. BYU already expelled Parker Kingston. He is not currently a student at BYU. Do people not understand that? He's not a student there, which is why him being in the IPF is such a problem. And again, BYU does not care what your rules and law says. Joey Smith is the guy that counts, not you. They have an honor code that plain and simply says, amongst other things, you cannot have sex outside of your marriage. End of discussion. And if you do, you cannot be a student at BYU. Which is why Jake Retzloff transferred to Tulane. And I would also remind you again, Jake Retzloff's case was never criminal. Completely different scenario. What happened with Parker Kingston is between Parker and this woman, and I am certain the evidence will come out. But all I know and what I believe is Parker Kingston can never play football or be a student or be allowed on campus at BYU again. Simple as that. Now, AJ Dybantsa, now that's a different story, and we can have a conversation about AJ Dybantsa. The NBA draft tonight, Barclays Center in Brooklyn.
Do you care about this at all?
Yes.
You do?
Yes. We need the Save NBA Act. If you take Darryn Peterson, number one, you're the Washington Wizards. Would anybody really be surprised if you took Don't Want to Playderson again?
No. No, they would not.
That'd be a bad decision made by not good executives, which is who the Washington Wizards are. Now, my belief is they're taking AJ Dybantsa, and Jazz fans will be not happy about that. Now, I think this AJ Dybantsa versus Don't Want to Playderson thing is very interesting. Don't Want to Playderson, who is Darryn Peterson, he have full body cramps and shit. Take your electrolytes, bud. It's not that difficult. Anyway, the point is, Darryn Peterson refused to work out for the Jazz. And immediately, Jazz fandom was like, oh, well, they know who he is. They know what he's about. They don't need him to work out. Yeah, they know that he didn't play a whole lot of games. And you would still draft him number 2 over Boozer, which will blow my mind. But Don't Want to Playderson says he can't wait to be in God's country.
Just a decision that was made, but definitely not dodging any team. Whoever takes me, I'm going to come in and be delighted to be there. And whoever that happens to be, they'll get the best me, but I'm not dodging any team. I'm ready to play for whoever.
Now, the fact that Jake can't figure out how to turn off captions on Twitter, pretty remarkable. When you have a neck beard, what would you expect?
Do you never skip?
What would you expect from a guy with a pube fro on his neck? But my point is, I don't believe Darryn Peterson as far as I can throw him. I would not draft him. I think this would be a huge mistake for the Jazz. If the Jazz draft this cat, dude, draft Boozer, forget Peterson. Because Dybantsa is going number 1 to Washington.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's pretty clear. I think that the Jazz have been angling to get AJ for years. I think since he was in high school, this has been the narrative. So, it really comes down to this draft is going to come down to Darryn Peterson's ability to sit in front of someone and have the conversation. And AJ Dybantsa, I feel like, has done everything he needs to do to show you that he's willing to go out there and give you everything he's got. And Jazz fans want this draft to be the draft where they start to finally move forward and take the next step. But what Jazz fans don't understand is bringing AJ Dybantsa onto this roster is going to make it so guys like Walker Kessler are gone, right? It's going to make it so that the guys that you've known and loved are going to be traded or just cut loose in free agency. And I think that what Jazz fan doesn't want to admit right now is that we're now in a place where people who don't know how to run a cap in basketball and are not GMs and don't have, 30 years of experience, basically their whole working life doing this, are going to start to make mistakes, because it's all fine and dandy when you're Ryan Smith and you've got all this money and you're the new kid on the block and you can just spend all your money or do whatever you need to do. But when you really start getting into the nitty gritty and making draft decisions and things like that, like you understand, if you draft AJ Dybantsa, the first question is going to be, okay, well, how long are you going to be bad? Like, how long are you guys going to be at the top of the draft and trying to build a BYU pipeline to the Jazz? Because that's all this is. That's all this is. You
really think so?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Ryan Smith and company are boosters of BYU. AJ Dybantsa was on one of the best Utah high school basketball teams in the country. He then goes to BYU because they ponied up the cash. Could have gone anywhere, chose BYU. Very odd choice, but he did.
Very odd choice?
Yeah, it's a really odd choice. When you can go to Duke, when you can go to Kentucky, why are you going to BYU when you can go to...
Because he grew up in Utah.
Yeah, that might be true, but that doesn't mean that for a kid who's not of the faith, that doesn't mean that you would go to BYU. You went to BYU because they had money and it kind of worked out. Like if BYU didn't have the money they had, he wouldn't be at BYU. That's just the truth of it, in my opinion. So, I
don't think there's any question about that. I mean, if you didn't have the money to recruit and leverage, yeah, you probably wouldn't be at BYU. But you could say the same about just about any school. But the fact is that he was in their pipeline as an amateur, as a young man playing high school basketball, and before AJ Dybantsa was ticketed for BYU. Right? Like he was in I don't know why I'm talking like that. He was in the BYU pipeline for a very long time. And the money certainly helped seal that. But now BYU, it doesn't even matter. If he goes number one, do you know what a boom that is for BYU basketball?
Yeah.
I mean, I think AJ is everything that you want in today's NBA, and Darryn Peterson is not. And I honestly don't know why there is even a conversation about it. I mean, how many times have we seen Buddy that was a pain in the ass in college be a flamethrower and just absolutely bust in the NBA?
Yeah, I mean, there's no question that there's no question about who you should pick, right? Like AJ is the better pick, like more reliable. You know what you're getting, really solid wing. I think very coachable. Right. I think you saw that, under Kevin Young. Although I have my reservations about Kevin Young, I actually do agree. AJ, a month ago or whenever that was when he did that interview, said that he probably could have averaged 30 the whole season if he had been more selfish, which I completely agree with. But so I have no doubts that AJ is the guy I would take. But if we're talking about optics and politics and what it looks like, I mean, I for better or for worse, in my opinion, it looks like, to me, Ryan Smith, Danny Ainge, in that whole group, along with the boosters who are currently at BYU, the crumble cookiers of the world and anybody else, are doing their damnedest to fund the program and go out and get the AJ Dybantses of the world. But in this case, it's just, my question is, you can't be bad forever. You can't be at the top of the draft forever. You can't be this team that is like, oh man, we're front and center. We're doing it the right way. We got a new practice facility. We got AJ. We got BYU, and just kind of live in this world of all this nice stuff and never win anything. And people are going to say, oh, well, look at what the Mammoth did. Yeah, but what did the Mammoth really do, bro? What did they really do? Oh, they did exactly what we said they'd do. Isn't that right? They went to the playoffs before the Jazz. So
well, all that nonsense is over now. I mean, especially if you get Boozer, that feels like a really good fit. And it feels like, for my money, if AJ's not available, because if AJ Dybantsa is available, you're taking AJ. I don't think he will be. I think AJ goes number one, and I think it's very difficult to see it happening any other way. You got to take Boozer number two, and he fits right into that lineup. He would be immediately a really good rotation piece on a top 7 team in the Western Conference, which I think the Jazz are. And then you got to make the Kessler trade. And you need to, and I still maintain not making the Kessler trade before this draft is a huge mistake. But like I look at this, and we're going to talk about the details on this Giannis trade in a bit. Why did they make the Giannis trade? Because they wanted it to go down. This is what I said Thursday, remember? Why did they make the Giannis trade now? They wanted it to go down before the draft, so they had the extra draft capital. And what did Jimmy Haslam say? Because right now, I don't know how many people understand there's a complicated governance at the top of the Bucks organization. The Bucks have multiple owners, and they are the governor of the franchise in 5-year rotating periods. And the governor has the final say over all things. Jimmy Haslam, who owns the Cleveland Browns, owns a 25% stake in the Bucks and is currently the governor of the Bucks. He is in his stretch, D and Jimmy Haslam. And who did he talk about? Myles Garrett. I did not want to deal with the Myles Garrett situation again. So I traded Giannis to Miami because I didn't want to deal with Jaylen Brown demanding a trade out of Milwaukee in a year. Because Boston's package was probably a little more appealing than Tyler Hero and a bunch of nobodies.
Couldn't agree with that more.
But they didn't want to deal with Jaylen being high maintenance. And they got what they get, the 13th pick. Like, they got a nice little package from Miami. And I think it's sound basketball. The thing here with the Jazz is, if you draft, don't want to play Peterson. And the biggest mistake this franchise could make is making Walker Kessler play out this contract. Because he will walk away from this team. And I think this is a critical moment in time for the Jazz. And we can all sit here and wonder, Danny Ainge's stretch is coming to an end. His stretch of darkness and nothingness is coming to an end. And does he have one last salvo to win the Lakers a championship by trading them Walker Kessler? We'll find out. Nothing about Danny Ainge in the Lakers. Okay. Anyway, the point is, there's still a lot of work for the Jazz to do, and they have some very clear things they should do.
Yeah, I mean, look, if the Jazz can mess it up, they will. Like, let's just be real. Like, look at the draft, look at what they've done, look at what they haven't done. I understand that leadership's different now, and they're on an arc, but again, I think that we're just assuming that this is going to go exactly how it should go. That the Jazz somehow have figured out how to win. The Jazz somehow, like, do you understand? Like, we're going into 26, 27 here, bro. Like, you haven't been, what has it been, 4 seasons now? Just trash. Like, sorry, dude, I'm not putting it past you that you guys have taken this long to rebuild this team, and you've had opportunities to accelerate the timeline. Like, you're not, you want to do what the Thunder did. Okay, cool, man. The problem is that's going to take you a hell of a lot longer than it took the Thunder, because the Thunder are a more attractive organization than you are right now. Like, I'm sorry, they are. Like, and they were before while they were still mediocre. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, listen, if AJ goes number 1, yeah, I'm probably defaulting to Boozer. I'm probably not taking Darryn Peterson, only because I don't trust him and just the baggage that comes with Darryn Peterson. Now, if they take Darryn Peterson number 1, AJ is the obvious pick, you know, and you know, that'll be a nice little story, and we can all sing Kumbaya around the fire that he, you know, grew up in Utah, went to BYU, and now is a Jazz man, and everybody can feel happy and amazing about it. But I'm not going to sit here and say, great job, here's your golden sticker, unless you guys go out and you double your win total. Because don't forget, you were a 22-win team this past year. Being a 7-seed or plus would require you to win more than 40 games. So let's actually show that you can do it. And by the way, I'd also point out, you have a head coach who hasn't won anything in the league yet and was supposed to be this young, incredible coach out of Boston as an assistant. Well, let's see him go out.
Let's give him a roster. Let's give him a roster where Lowry, don't call me Laurie McCarkinen, actually plays a pretty full slate of games, and let's get Jaren Jackson, and let's have your whole roster playing games, and let's have them playing games together for an extended period of time, and then let's trash Will Hardy because I love the guy. I love him. And I'm telling you now, there's only 2 players in this draft, in my opinion, that'll be superstars. And I think it is AJ Dybantsa and my guy Caleb Wilson, who I hope, because the Chicago Bulls are doing some things that make you think they have a semblance of some idea of how to do some things. Hiring Splitter. Dude, finally. And if they draft Caleb Wilson out of the University of North Carolina, is Tar Heel. If that happens, the Bulls are in much better shape. And I'm telling you, there should be very serious consideration from the Jazz. If AJ goes number 1, that you should take Cam Boozer number 2. Because I think he's all that. I think he's he is a really good right now rotational guy in the NBA. He can play the game. And I think the biggest issue with Darryn Peterson is you can't trust him. You can't trust him. And the other thing is anything that disturbs this guard rotation, because I have no idea. The worst part about Darryn Peterson is the unknown. You have no idea how he comes in and fits in. His demeanor sucks. His competitiveness feels like it sucks. What if we believe him that this was a full body cramp and it was painful and I thought I was dying, Monty? Okay, then I can't draft you. Either way, can we all just agree around the idea that this kid, Darryn Peterson's got danger written all over him?
Yes.
You're the Jazz. You've finally done some really good things and made a lot of really good moves. Make the Walker Kessler trade. Draft somebody other than Darryn Peterson. Hell, Caleb Wilson would be amazing. They're not. That's way too high. I think Cam Boozer would be incredible.
Yeah. I think you, at the same time, though, if you took Cam Boozer, would have to move Laurie or Jaren Jackson, because you've definitely got some repetitiveness on the roster at that point. So, I think
should be the biggest problem that you have, man.
I agree, but I'm still saying it's a problem, right? It's still something you're going to have to deal with. So and again, I do want to clarify. I'm not saying Will Hardy sucks, but I'm saying clearly that there's a difference between being a head coach of a team that's tanking and being a head coach of a team that all of a sudden has Western Conference Finals aspirations.
Correct.
So I'm not going to crown the guy a great head coach until he can show us that he's capable of taking out the whiteboard and drawing up a play to get his best player an open look to win a ball game. This is the same thing I said about Kevin Young when every BYU fan was saying that Kevin Young was God's gift to coaching, right? Like, I'm not doing that until you can show that you know how to do this. And I believe that it takes time to know how to do it. Now, if you want to have a conversation about, hey, like, let's give the guy 3 or 4 seasons with a good roster to learn it, I'm down with that, because I do think there's a strong case to be made that if, you asked him to tank, he did that at a pretty high level. You guys were one of the worst teams in the league. So I agree that the assignment you gave him, he did a really good job with 9 nights out of 10. I think it's hilarious that you got your bag slapped repeatedly by the league this past season over tanking and injury reports and fake injuries and stuff like that. I did find that funny. But as far as Will Hardy is concerned, he did everything you asked him to do and didn't fight you on it, it doesn't appear. So, yeah, I mean, theoretically, he's capable. But for an organization that has struggled to win championships and get the job done. Let's just be careful how ahead of things we get in terms of, labeling guys great fits or whatever. We need to see people actually go out and win games, and that's from ownership down.
Yeah, I just want to see a Keontae George extension, a Walker Kessler trade. Like, I want to see the Jazz continue to make pragmatic decisions. Like, I'm looking at their salary cap. I think the biggest question I have is, when are you going to extend Keontae? Like, because it doesn't feel like you're going to do it this summer.
Yeah, well, it should be done this summer.
Which I think would be a huge mistake. I think and I don't know why the Jazz continue to do this. It's Walker Kessler. And I know we don't want to go back to Gordon Hayward, and it's why Gordon left here. You let him go sip the tea and find out what he was worth. And so he found out what he was worth, and he wound up leaving. And the Jazz, when you're in a position like the Jazz are, and as much as I think, I don't want to go back and relitigate Donovan Mitchell, and this franchise does not have a superstar. You don't have a superstar. And I just think that, damn it, you got to figure it out. You've got to get Keontae under contract, draft the right guy. Whoever, we could all sit here and, if it were me, I'm not drafting Darryn Peterson.
No, hell no.
I still think Boozer or Williams number 2 would be. I really worry about. I agree with you on roster rotation, right? Because who are your guards right now? I mean, I guess obviously everybody really likes what Bryce has done.
Yes.
You prioritize the young combo guys, right? Like, at least I do. Like, I look at guys like Ace Bailey and Bryce Sensabaugh. Like, those guys can play multiple positions, fit into almost any lineup you want to run. Really like what they've done. I really like, to a lesser extent, you're not going to prioritize Isaiah Collier over most guys. Like, Darryn Peterson, to me, is just too much of a risk. And I understand that you have a lot of Marketins and Triple J, and you have a lot of bodies on this team. Like, Kyle Filipowski's proven he can be a rotational player. I still would draft Cameron Boozer. I would still draft him.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's tough is that, okay, let's say you don't draft Boozer. Again, this is assuming that AJ went number 1. I just want to keep saying that for all of you just joining us. If AJ goes number 1 and you don't get him and he's not available to you, and you draft Boozer, I mean, yeah, it's a good problem to have. I agree with that completely. I just think that, look, I guess I just have trust issues with roster management in this organization. I think that there needs to be, again, a clear direction defined. I mean, I'm seeing like multiple people in the comment section are saying that, this is a playoff team next year. Well, you guys are really sure about that. Like, talent says they should be a playoff team. Yes. But how many times have we seen more talented teams struggle to make the playoffs, right? What do you say about Houston? What do you say about the Phoenix teams? What do you say about the Lakers? Right? I mean, we have seen teams with Hall of Famers on them and a cast of guys not make the playoffs. So I maintain that, again, whether you take AJ, you take Boozer, or if, God forbid, they took Darryn Peterson, which I can't believe, but let any of these guys, the bigger question around this draft for me tonight is, what are the Jazz trying to do this season? I'm assuming it's to go to the playoffs. You can't tell me you're going to tank again after getting Jaren Jackson Jr. and now you have Markkanen on the, like, you've got a caster that should be playoff good.
Dude, could you imagine Jaren Jackson and Carlos Boozer, like Cameron Boozer, who I said Carlos, but Cameron Boozer, that 4-5 would be, I mean, that's a huge upgrade. Huge upgrade. I don't trust Darryn Peterson. I just do not, I don't trust him. And I think when you start looking at this Jazz team and the history of draft disasters, God, I hope this is different. I just really hope it's different. I'm tired of this team being in the top 5 picks in the lottery, and I'm tired of that.
Yeah.
I'm tired of that. And I'm very curious to see, like, does Bryce Sensabaugh have a future with this team? Like, looking at his money, I'm very curious. I'm very curious what his future is. What about Walker Kessler? What about Key's extension? Like, I just think you leave so many of these questions, and you have so many of these young guys. You got to answer questions about, like, quick, in my opinion. So we'll see. Your comments are always welcome, of course. Boozer at number 2. What are we smoking? So there's no risk in Darryn Peterson. There's no risk in Darryn Peterson. If we draft Boozer, that's saying we're 5 years from trying to compete. What are you talking about? Okay. Clean shaven Jake versus half beard growing Jake. Poll of the day. It's never going to die. It's never going to die. DP fits right in. How do you know that? You can't say that. You have no way to say that. That is, see, and that's the thing that I think, and everybody wants to compare this to Ace Bailey, who was allegedly not thrilled to be coming to Utah, and look at what he's turned into. Right? I think it's completely different. Ace Bailey never refused to play for his college teams. It's just, Jake can't pull off a herd ill. I'll have to show him a beard. I'll have to show him how it's done.
Listen, if you're going to insult somebody, you should probably type it correctly. Just a general rule of thumb there.
The Jazz must get the Kessler deal done. Totally agree. Brandon Butler, Kessler isn't going anywhere. Oh, I think he is. All the teams with cap space just dried up. While I think Boozer is a great prospect, if you get Peterson and he reaches ant level potential,
come on. What do you mean ant level potential, dude? He like, look, I appreciate your sentiment here, Brandon. I do, and I know you watch this team and you're informed. I'm not saying it's a trash take, but my goodness,
you're even wrong.
You can't honestly tell me you think that the odds are with you that this guy comes anywhere near what Anthony Edwards is. I mean, do you really believe that it's better than 50-50 that he reaches ant level potential? You understand that you're talking about Darryn Peterson being the face of this franchise, right? Like that's what Ant is for the Wolves. He's the face of that franchise. I'm not with that. I can't do it. Can't do it. I'm not there. Is the kid talented? Yeah. Is he face of your franchise? Is he worth the risk? Absolutely not.
No. There's no way. Everybody always says, well, if you take out the odd stuff, you can't.
What do you mean take out the odd stuff? It's what defines the guy.
If you're just evaluating DP as a basketball player, sure, he's got massive upside on both ends of the floor. Like, the guy could be a really elite defender, and he's obviously a gifted scorer. But he doesn't like electrolytes, apparently. How do we just overlook his unwillingness to compete in certain games?
Games of leverage, I might add.
I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can do that. And if the Lakers figure out a Walker Kessler deal, now you're in a very interesting position.
That's what I'm saying. Like Jazz fan is sitting here being like, oh yeah, we're gonna be a playoff team. Like that's what they're doing this year, Monty. And one of these guys is gonna help us do that. Well, I think that you guys are making a lot of assumptions, and you guys think that these guys are gonna be what Cooper Flagg was for the Mavericks, or I don't think you can do that. I think that there's too much risk here. There's too much X factor. There's too much variable. There's too you're talking about, AJ Dybantsa, a guy who took half a season to make the adjustment to be more selfish, with all due respect, because I like him a lot. But you're talking about a guy who took a while to make an adjustment. Like, it's an adjustment going and playing in the league. Notice we don't have AJ Dybantsa tape of him playing for the USA select team. We don't have what we had with Cooper Flagg. AJ is a wonderful prospect and is going to be a very good NBA player. But I'm going to keep cautioning you guys. You're talking about a 22-win team going to a 40-win team if you want to be mid-table in the West. That's not some small feat, bro. So when you're talking about Darryn Peterson, you say, well, man, if he could be Ant, if he could get anywhere near that, or I saw another one of you guys saying if he can be what Jalen Brunson is. Well, do you understand? Like, you're talking about some of the best players in the NBA, bro. You're talking about some, like, the face of the franchise in both cases, and I'd also point out that Jalen Brunson was one of the faces of the Mavericks with Luka before that trade went down. So I can't believe the confidence that y'all have in the Utah Jazz to go from where they are now to a mid-table playoff team in the West when the top team is 60-plus wins. This isn't the East. This is the West. Like, this is not some small feat. This is not a little hill that you got to walk. You're talking about walking over a mountain, dude. You're talking about beating teams who are already more well put together than you are. And you're saying that that's going to happen under a younger head coach who has never been asked to win at that level before. Now, there's nothing to worry about here. Man, we should just have all the confidence in the world with the Jazz. Come on, dude. Come on. Like, we've seen this before.
We can't do this. You can't put Darryn Peterson in Jalen Brunson's mouth. That came out wrong. My point is, you can't compare the two. Like, you just can't do it. Rock and Rant, we are having Beer Day and James is not here. Beard. What a missed opportunity. James, the nose trimmer guy. James, the edger guy. Exactly. Well, I mean, that's who Jake's trying to be. Jake is trying to grow the same beard. Look at James's beard here. This is the look Jake's going after. And instead, he wound up with this look.
Come on, dude. Get a life, man. Come on, man.
And really, this is not a beard in any way, shape, or form.
We're not coaching Little League, buddy.
So, how does James always catch strays on this show? One of the biggest reasons pro athletes do well in professional sports is drive. That killer instinct to do whatever it takes to win. If there are questions about that, it's an issue. Yeah.
It's really just that simple.
I would agree. Hey, sorry for getting the show off track, guys. You did it singularly. I was simply trying to be nice and give Jake a positive comment or two since he was taking flack for his BDM neck fuzz. See, Jake, people are trying to look out for you.
I don't need your backhanded apologies, dude. You weren't trying to be nice. You were trying to make a joke, which
your backhanded apology.
Yeah, I don't need some peasant or like charity apology, bro. I don't need it, dude. I understand that you like to jab me. I get it. And I also appreciate that you have a running calendar of the shirts that I wear. So thank you. I appreciate that.
It's fine. Was James a sideline reporter when Kingston was at the IPF asking for a friend? Could be. When you run around in a TCU shirt with a target painted on your face, you're going to catch some strays. He does. Yes, he does. On a regular basis, he catches strays. Jake ain't making the 21 times a month goal with that beard.
See, now that's a good comment. That's funny.
I always try to warn Jake why is it you don't shave?
Because it's a free country. I don't know. Is there a rule that I need to?
Dude, look in the mirror and ask yourself that question.
I mean, come on, bro.
Your face is already problematic.
It's disgusting.
So the idea that then you turn around and you don't shave, you're not helping the already naturally
give you any frame of reference.
Yeah, you're already not helping the natural disfigurement that you were born with.
Well, that's your fault, not mine. I just deal with what I got to deal with.
Nobody questions that.
Family.
Nobody questions that. Hey, fellers. Nice beard, Jake. Look, I just...
Bro, hey, fellers. Come on, bro.
It is what it is. The beard just needs a shape up, Jake. Not saying you shouldn't have it.
Experts.
Shaving is overrated. Just ask the women. The beard is fine. Clean shaven face makes you look like you had too many shakes. Jake is known for shaking it a lot.
Yeah, no duh.
Just get it off the neck. I don't think it's asking too much.
Okay.
Jay Beers, for real, I hate shaving. Well, nobody likes shaving. Jake seeking an NIL deal for his own shave club for men.
Well,
do you have nice shaving tools, or are you just like a dollar shave club guy?
No, I have stuff. I have stuff, dude. I have stuff.
You're just lazy.
I just haven't. It's fine.
I mean, is that because now you don't have to? The bar is so low in Kansas City that you don't have to?
No, I just haven't.
Okay. I mean, I'm just trying to help here, man.
I know.
We bringing out the old moniker, shake weights, Jake. That's what I'm saying.
You know me, dude. You know me. Just shake weighting it up over here.
Just shake weighting it up over here. Oh boy.
Bro.
Shave in the shower?
No. We're not talking about what is that? You want to explain what you said there at the end, dude, about just that portion at the end there. You want
right, but this goes back to Jake's unwillingness to use the body sprayer in the shower to clean certain nether regions that tend to vomit brown water.
Okay, I don't vomit brown water. I'm not on the cherry plan, dude. That doesn't happen to me.
Neither am I. It's still, yes, you got to clean it out. You got to spray up in there and get the.
Everybody needs to get a life, bro.
But do you have a body sprayer in your shower? Or do you just
currently, I do not. No.
You don't even have a body sprayer?
You act like it's a crime against humanity.
It is.
Bro. Good Lord,
dude! It's flipping Prime Day. Go get a body sprayer.
I didn't know. I have no idea that it's Prime Day, dude. See, you Seattle.
Oh my God!
Prime Day.
What are we doing? You had no idea it was Prime Day.
No idea.
Yes, you shut up.
No,
you did too.
Nope.
How do you not know it's Prime Day?
No idea it was Prime Day. Legitimately. Nope.
I give up. I absolutely. How do you not know it's Prime Day?
Yeah, I didn't know it was Prime Day, bro.
Yes, without the sprayer, you can't get the crevasses.
Right.
And I want that known.
Yeah, pull those things apart and what are we talking about? Yes, the hand sprayer is a bidet. Get up in there. Yeah. You don't. Okay. How do you not know it's Prime Day? How often, how many days a week do you shop on Amazon?
It depends. It ebbs and flows, dude. Some like, you know, when you're moving, you shop more. When you're not, you don't.
Okay.
I mean, maybe when I have everything I need, I don't do it as much, you know? Like I got a dish mat the other day. I got like just random stuff, you know? Like I don't know.
It's Prime Day, bruh. Gotta have it.
Yeah, maybe I can buy some more bright polos for you guys, you know?
Well, I mean, the Willett golf short that is the amazing. And now you're the guy who likes the 7-inch inseam.
No, I don't. I'm the guy that turned you on to the 6-inch inseam, which now you love.
6 inches is too short.
Mm-hmm.
Is it really 6 inches? That's why it was hanging out the other day. Anyway, the point is, what? I'm just telling you, you bought a house from a Jewish person? Very interesting. Definitely getting a sprayer.
Dude, quote, we have to remodel the bathrooms on our Jew house. Okay, dude, take it easy, bro. It's a family program.
That feels really racist. Brandon Butler. What did Brandon Butler say? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Big Sac State James. Shaving the face, not that dangerous. Shaving the boys, just stay safe and say no. You know, my new house. No, it's not what you said.
That's not what you said, dude. It's not what you said.
You know, it just is what it is. Who knew Jeremiah was a Jew hater? Wow.
Hey,
well,
Jeremiah,
I moved into my new Catholic apartment in October, and
listen, Jeremiah, that might be a new record on the show. I think you just put yourself in word timeout, dude.
Yeah.
That's pretty rough.
Well, you guys that live in Protestant houses, you know about.
Brother.
It's the Methodists. You really got to watch out. And the non-Christian Mormons, too.
Macaque.
Jew house. Wait, what makes a house a Jew house?
You don't always have to be negative.
Manischewitz.
I'm giving you a fucking answer.
God damn it, I'm about to Hey, we're not the ones doing Passover again. Well, this took a turn. Yeah.
You messed that up for yourself, dude. I'm the one taking a beating today, and you had to go into the comment section and drop a Jew bomb.
Like, what? We bought a Scientology house once. Aliens hiding everywhere. My aliens watching Tom Cruise and Top Gun Maverick. Oh, that's so good. That is. Hey, can we hate? By the way, I don't want to get too far away from how much I hate Jake Paul.
A plague.
I'm just going to play the video. It's fine.
I do have NFL aspirations.
Oh, wow. I just want you to know Jake doesn't know how to turn off closed captioning.
I do have NFL aspirations.
Oh, wow.
After boxing, I want to play slot receiver. And so I think to, get that experience in college first would be good. So I could walk onto the Stanford team. I'm being serious though. Yeah.
Well, this might be the first podcast you mention it. So
it is. And it happened. The idea of it happened today. Cause I was like, I was originally thinking I'll just go straight to the Cleveland Browns or Dallas Cowboys, but they're probably going to want to see me play first. And so it might be better if I start off in college and have a little bit of an advantage over the younger, not as big kids before going into the NFL.
God, I dislike him so much. It makes me crazy. Mm.
Yeah, dude is. I can't say it any more clearly than the guy is a clickbaiter and an absolute
clout chaser.
Clout chaser. That's it. That's all he cares about, dude. And I can't wait for his time to pass. Legitimately.
What does that mean?
I'm so sick and tired of like the boxing stuff and the drama. And like it just is so tiring, bro. Like I don't know. Maybe I'm just burned out on it, but I just is sitting here saying like, how much effort are you going to put into being fake? Like that's all it is. The fights were fixed. It's clear as day. Like your whole thing is just it just is tired, man.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hey,
what does he have to say today?
Marcus says, Jake, with all of this beard talk, you really should consider shaving your beard, putting it in a Ziploc bag, and donating it to Locks of Lust.
Uh-huh.
I guarantee you somebody in the comment section would be like, $20, bro. And a slice of pepperoni pizza from Sam's Club. It is weird that people are obsessed with it. Paul brothers equal New Age Barnum and Bailey circus. I can't stand him.
Yeah,
I really can't. Brock Lesnar, though size and strength was good enough, he did not last long with the Vikings.
Yeah, but at least Brock Lesnar was
a football player.
Like, dude was a football player. He actually fought in the UFC. Like, it wasn't fixed and fake and just a gimmick, man.
Oh, makes me. I can't stand. It's what my issue with the Kardashians is. What value do you bring to the world? Just drama. Like, what value do the Paul brothers bring to the world?
Yeah. Yep.
Drama. Fat. Jesus. I have aspirations of Jake Paul disappearing from the plan.
Fat.
Can we stop beating up on Jake over his beard mullet? Yeah, you guys, be nice to Jake.
That's not what we're about.
Nope. They keep the idiots entertained, who thus keep us entertained. Yeah. I mean, and I understand that people in Jew houses, they like to buy Jake Paul fights on pay-per-view. I get it.
In God's name, image, and likeness.
They do. They are fodder, right? I think Marcus would buy it, Monty. I think he might. You seem frustrated, Jake. What's the matter?
No, I'm good. I'm fine.
Okay. Talking with Raphael. What's up, dude? Good to see you. We are getting closer to the movie Idiocracy becoming a reality. Truth.
Yeah, it's not good, bro.
The whole thing that I struggle with is social media in general sucks. And guys like Jake Paul, Logan Paul, the buddies from Romania that were arrested and kicked out of the country. This is what we're doing. Like having it was my beef with the UFC fight at the White House. You only did that for a picture. You didn't really care about having a UFC fight there to celebrate America's 250. You didn't.
Yeah, you didn't give a damn.
It was just a photo. It was a cool picture, right? And like, it's why anybody does anything, it feels like, is to get clout on social media.
Yep.
And it just is this thing that drives, I feel like it drives so much negativity. And you get guys like Jake Paul, who I guess is boxing. I was reading while I was laying in bed this morning, his boxing career is apparently over this broken jaw thing.
Yeah, he's done fighting now.
His jaw, I guess, broke in such a way that it can never, I don't know. You're telling me the guy can take hits in a football helmet? I mean, that seems crazy to me. But it is what it is. It drives me crazy, man. I hate it. So if we never hear from him again, that'd be great. All right. What do you buy? Let's talk about Amazon Prime and Amazon Prime days. Do you use Alexa in your house, Jake?
No. I do not.
You do not?
No, not an Alexa user in the house. Absolutely not.
Why?
It's just not my thing. I mean, I think, part of it is I probably would use it more if like I owned my house and I had like all the smart lights and like I had more like I would use it more for home automation than I would for shopping. I much prefer to just do it on my phone or computer. But
you don't just ask her randomly like what's the weather or
nope. Just look at it on my phone.
Turn on the TV.
Nope. Just
wow.
Remote.
Yeah, see, I ask her the weather. I use Alexa a lot. I use ChatGPT a ton now. I'm going to take this real estate test yesterday, and it's like a 40-minute drive.
Yeah.
Like I'm driving to this test, and ChatGPT is quizzing me. I was like, hey, ask me questions, quiz me. I said to it, I'm going to take the Hawaii real estate exam. Ask me questions related to real estate contract law. And it just starts asking you multiple choice questions. Like, I think I use Alexa all the time.
Yeah, I think Alexa versus like ChatGPT or Claude is two different things for me. Like, I think Alexa / Siri are basically just convenience things. Like so you would ask them you would ask them for a weather update versus just looking at your phone, right?
When I go for a walk, I say, hey, Siri, start an outdoor walk.
Right, exactly. Instead of
she'll start a walk.
Instead of just like going on your phone and doing it yourself. It's just that convenience of being able to say that. Yeah. I think that like ChatGPT and Claude together are a pretty lethal combination, especially if you're using Claude to write stuff. I think if you're updating resume, if you're doing
making thumbnails for our show.
Right,
or writing SEO for our show.
SEO is really good. Thumbnails, not so much. Thumbnails is much more of I have my opinions on that. But anyway, either way, it's powerful. Either way. I mean, it has a lot of different uses. I think that I would say I use ChatGPT daily for random tasks or different things or questions or whatever. I don't know. Like just it's very, I find that ChatGPT is extremely helpful if you're, let's say you're searching for something, like as an example, if you were trying to buy a house, let's say, just as a random example, but you wanted to get a sense of the market, like you could ask ChatGPT to do a dive on the market to get you like an average home price. And like, you can filter that and do all kinds of stuff. It's a useful tool. But I find that I use ChatGPT more in the day-to-day than I would like an Alexa or a Siri.
Interesting. I use them both. Do you guys, in the comments section, do you guys use Alexa? Do you guys use Siri? I use it all the time. What do you buy? What's the main thing you buy on Amazon?
I mean, over the last year, it's probably been golf-related stuff. I think that's like golf balls.
Alexa, stop. She started talking.
Stuff for the show, cables or a new mixer last week or whatever, 2 weeks ago, whenever that was. I wouldn't hesitate. Like I wouldn't hesitate to buy like a new TV or like stuff like that from Amazon.
Yeah. They need to come out with a new Fire TV.
Mm-hmm.
It needs an update, and I'm certain at some point they will. But it needs like, I want more features. I want more integration. I want more of everything. But I'm looking at the devices in my Amazon app. And I got to tell you, the new Amazon devices, all of the accessories that go with the Amazon devices, like I have the Chicago Bears helmet that covers the physical pod. I love the Echo Pod thing. The Echo Spot, the Echo Dot,
I think that home automation, I have to be honest, I think there's one or two people in this world. You're either a big time home automation person, or that's just not really in your ecosystem at all. And I don't think
how is home automation not in anybody's ecosystem?
Well, I'm not saying it's not in anybody's ecosystem, but what I'm saying is that I think that's very much a dividing line. Like,
but is
you
it in
either
your
like that-
ecosystem?
Well, not right now. I mean, I just moved. I haven't had the opportunity to, really like own a house and like really set it up and like really get it situated. Because I do think there is kind of a setup process to it. You have to really decide like how you want it to work, what you're trying to get it to do, like that, that kind of thing, whether it's just lights or like you have a Fire TV. Not everyone has a Fire TV, but if you do have a Fire TV, you can do that. So like I do think home automation is definitely a dividing line. Yeah.
I think you have to have it to be able to tell her to turn off your bedroom lights, or like there's the whole thing, a sequence that my wife has set up on our Amazon, on our Echo, that like it tells you the alarm goes off, it starts playing music, it'll read you the news headlines, it turns on the lights in different colors so that you wake up naturally. Like there's all this stuff it does, which is to me is amazing. But with it being Amazon Prime days, I think there's some really good deals on, again, the accessories related to Echo Dots, and which I think are really cool. They have a device called an Echo Studio that I really like. I mean, they have all kinds of cool little stands they sit on. Like I said, I have a Chicago Bears helmet that covers mine that my wife got me. Like they have all kinds of stuff. And I think at some point, I love them. And people worried about, it's listening to me. You can disable that function. Like, I love it. I just think that they've done so much with it. But the things I mainly buy on Amazon are my latest orders. What are the things I've ordered? Poop bags for the dog, a OxyClean for my washing machine, like you can clean your washing machine, Cosequin for my dog, vitamins for my dog. So dumb. Electrolytes, wash. Now, I will also say that the thing I like about Amazon and shopping on Amazon, if you're a Prime member, returns are easy. I love that. But just everything from seasoning, brawny paper towels.
Yeah, all my stuff is either show stuff or house stuff. Like
golf shorts, the Willet golf short, you guys, WILLIT, is the best golf short in the business. I'm telling you. It is so good. Now, it's not Travis Matthew, and I'm spoiled, right? But the Willet golf short right now is on sale for $23. And they make them, they're so good. They're so good. They're comfortable. You can get them in that 7-inch inseam that Jake loves to let it hang out.
Right.
Right. But it is what it is. I buy everything on Amazon. Even groceries, like the Amazon here in Seattle, I can get groceries to my door in an hour. I can put in a grocery order. It'll be sitting at my front door in an hour or less, just about.
Yeah.
So I love it. I absolutely love it. I use it for everything. So you weren't even thinking that. I can't believe you had no awareness it was Prime Day.
No, it wasn't even on my radar, honestly. I wasn't even I was not even pondering it or considering it.
Yeah, I think
I don't know. I probably just missed the promotion on that.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's imperative. I think it is imperative. But, we'll see. Some of the online stuff for home worries me. Ring cameras have worked with some police departments to get your footage without your knowledge. And I know Ring has tightened their privacy and access terms of service. Like cops can't get your live feed anymore. Like they don't automatically get your video anymore. But I think they have to get your now. This is like 6-7 months ago. They have to get your express written consent to access your footage. They can't go through the company. Like So I think some of that has been mitigated. But, is what it is. Anyway, I just thought it's interesting to see what people buy on Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that buying on Amazon for me it just goes in waves. Sometimes I'm buying a lot, sometimes I'm not. It just really depends on what's going on or what I need or what I'm interested in.
Yeah.
I think that I have no problem with Amazon. I mean, I think it's incredibly convenient, great service, like no issue with it. The home automation thing, I think I think a lot of people just don't think about it. I'm not saying it's not cool to have that set up. What I'm saying is that I think a lot of people, it doesn't occur to a lot of people that's really like an option. And I think that there's obviously some investment in it, right? Like you got to have Alexa, you have to have the bulbs to be able to do that. You have to have good internet. You have to have you just have to have a couple things to be able to set that up. But if you have those things, then it's great. And it works well. So, I guess I just haven't, it's interesting. I guess I just haven't found myself wanting to set it up or feeling like a need to set it up quite yet. But I'm sure at some point, I'm sure that I'll invest in that. I'm sure.
Okay. Big changes on the PGA Tour this morning. Formalized structure for promotion and relegation. 23 of 24 events on the championship series, including the Players, Majors, and President's Cup. 10 championship series events confirmed in Boston, Denver, New York, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Seattle, and Washington, D.C. Match play format introduced as a playoff event at iconic venues. Wow. Challenger Series to feature $4 million purchases on 20 events. Championship Series players not eligible for Challenger Series. Separate point systems for each tier. Very interesting. Very interesting. There will also be a Last Chance Series featuring 4 to 6 events played in the fall, where a limited number of spots on the PGA Tour Championship Series for the following season will be available as players look to improve or retain status. Wow, wow, wow.
The rollout for how do we get live guys back in the fold?
Wow, wow, wow. That's pretty amazing. They need to figure that out. Yeah. There's no question they need to figure that out. All right, there you go. The Monty Show is always presented by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. You guys, 100 Deadliest Days are here. Please slow down. Please be aware of your surroundings. Eliminate the distractions while you're driving. I know you got the kids in the car, you got the phone in the car, eliminate the distractions because you have more kids on the streets, more people on bicycles, scooters. Slow down. And if the worst happens, get the best at theadvocates.com, where you never reach into your pocket to pay the advocates, because you don't pay the advocates unless and until they win your case. 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.